Welcome to Deep Ocean Sleep Science, where science flows like water. Today, we invite you on a journey to the lowest point on Earth. A place where the very elements defy expectation, where water refuses to drown you, and where the air is thick with history and healing. However your day has been, whether filled with noise, with rush, with the thousand tiny weights of modern life, let that weight dissolve now. Let it fall away as we travel together to a basin of ancient calm. We are floating in salty stillness. Not on the sea, but in it. The water here is so dense, so saturated with the minerals of ancient epochs, that it holds you like a gentle, unwavering hand. There is no need to swim. There is only the invitation to release, to be supported, to let go. For the next, we will float through the deep science, the layered history, and the mystical tranquility of the Dead Sea. Each fact a mineral crystal in the water, each section a layer of mud on the shore, rich, therapeutic, and profound. If this buoyant flow of calm science helps you to find rest, consider floating with us regularly. A subscription is a gentle nudge of support, allowing us to continue these deep dives into the world's most peaceful phenomena. Now, take a deep breath of this mineral-rich air. Feel the sun, warm and ancient, on your skin. Let your mind become weightless. And let us begin our float. We begin at the beginning. Not centuries ago, but millennia. Our first float is through the deep time that formed this sanctuary. The lowest place on Earth. You are floating 430 meters, about 1,412 feet, below sea level. This is the lowest exposed point on the Earth's solid surface. It is not a coincidence that this profound depth is also a place of profound buoyancy. Geologically, you are in the Dead Sea Rift, a northern extension of the Great Rift Valley, a massive tectonic plate boundary where the African and Arabian plates are slowly pulling apart. This relentless, millimeter by millimeter divergence over millions of years created this deep, sunken trough. So as you float, feel the immense, patient power beneath you. The very ground here surrendered to a greater force, creating a vessel to hold this unique water. Let your own tension surrender in the same way, sinking into the bedrock of this moment. A lake with no outlet. The Dead Sea is a terminal lake. Water flows in from the Jordan River and smaller streams, but it never flows out. Its only escape is upward, into the relentless, dry air. This is the key to its existence. With no outlet, every mineral, every salt, every particle of earth washed into it over the ages has been trapped. Evaporation removes pure water, leaving the dissolved legacy of mountains and rivers behind, concentrated in a vast, landlocked bowl. Think of your mind as this lake. Let the influx of thoughts from the day simply arrive. And then, let the warm air of your attention evaporate the clear, simple water of worry, leaving only the rich, settled minerals of experience behind. The two basins. Look north from your float. The sea is not uniform. A narrow strait near the Lynch Peninsula, now above water, once connected a larger, deeper northern basin to a smaller, shallower southern basin. Since the 1970s, due to dramatic water diversion, the southern basin has been largely cut off and exists now primarily as a series of industrial evaporation ponds for mineral extraction. The living, natural Dead Sea we speak of is the northern basin. Our own consciousness has basins, deep, reflective pools of intuition and shallow, active ponds of daily thought. For now, let us drift in the deep north, away from the industry of the mind. The Licon Peninsula's story. Beneath you lies the history of wet and dry. The Licon Peninsula, whose name means tongue in Arabic, is a massive formation of white clay, marl, and gypsum. Pause. It is the remnant of the Licon Lake, a prehistoric ancestor of the Dead Sea that was over 200 meters higher than today's level. Its sedimentary layers, like pages in a geological book, record hundreds of thousands of years of climatic shifts, floods, droughts, and earthquakes. Your breath is like this geological record. Each inhale, a high water mark. Each exhale, an evaporation. Over the quiet hours of sleep, these cycles write the story of your restoration. The sinkhole phenomenon. Along the receding shoreline, the earth opens up in sudden, dramatic sinkholes, thousands of them. They form when freshwater underground dissolves a deep layer of salt, causing the ground above to collapse. It is a landscape in active, sometimes violent, transformation. These holes are a direct, physical manifestation of the delicate balance between the freshwater flowing in and the hypersaline water below. Sometimes, in our own psyche, a sudden shift, a collapse of an old structure, can create space for something new. There is no need to fear these openings. They are part of the natural reconfiguration of the terrain. Mount Sedum Salt Core. To the southwest, Mount Sedum rises. This stark, dramatic mountain is made almost entirely of salt, capped with a harder layer of rock. It is Earth's largest exposed salt diapir, a giant plug of salt that has been squeezed upward from depths of over 8 kilometers. This is a monument to pressure and time. The salt, less dense than the overlying rock, slowly, plastically, flowed upward like a subterranean glacier over millions of years, piercing the surface. Our deepest reserves of calm are like this salt core. They may be buried under layers of stress, but they are buoyant. With time and the right conditions, they will rise, forming the unshakable foundation of our peace. The 4,000-year-old earthquake. The ground here remembers violence. Archaeological and geological evidence points to a cataclysmic earthquake around 1700 BCE, so powerful it may have destroyed cities and is potentially linked to the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Seismologists study the disturbed layers of sediment, finding evidence of this and many other quakes. The Rift Valley is alive, shifting, settling. Even the most stable-seeming landscapes have histories of upheaval. And yet, after the shudder, stillness always returns. The water settles. The mud smooths over the cracks. Let any inner tremors pass through you now, knowing calm is the enduring state. The bitumen seeps. The ancients called the Dead Sea the Lake of Asphalt. Natural lumps of bitumen, a tar-like petroleum product, would regularly float to the surface. This substance was highly prized in the ancient world for waterproofing boats, embalming mummies, and as mortar. It was a valuable economic resource, traded as far away as Egypt. Sometimes, from the depths of our own stillness, valuable resources emerge, insights, clarities, a sense of groundedness. You need not dive for them. In this state of buoyant calm, they will rise to you naturally. A relict of the Tethys Ocean. The salts you float in are ancient beyond imagination. They are the legacy of the Tethys Ocean, a vast, prehistoric sea that existed hundreds of millions of years ago before the continents moved into their current positions. When the Tethys closed, great inland seas evaporated, leaving behind massive salt deposits. The Dead Sea salts are, in part, a dissolution and reconcentration of these primordial minerals. You are not just floating in a lake. You are floating in the ghost of an ocean. Your breath contains atoms from the dawn of time. Your rest connects you to the deepest history of the planet. The changing depth. You float on a disappearing sea. A century ago, the surface was about 390 meters below sea level. Today, it is over 430. It drops, on average, over 1 meter per year. This is due to the diversion of the Jordan River for water and the industrial evaporation of the southern basin. The sea is shrinking, revealing new land, new shores, a new geography of loss and adaptation. All things change. Even this immense, salty sanctuary is in flux. This truth can be a release. There is no need to grasp, to hold rigidly. Like the water, like the shoreline, we can accept transformation, finding peace within the flow itself. Now, let us dissolve into the water itself. Into the extraordinary chemistry that makes this buoyancy possible, that turns liquid into a supportive embrace. 34% salinity, the density of dreams. The water holds you because it is approximately 34% salt by weight. The ocean, by comparison, is about 3.5%. You are floating in a solution nearly 10 times saltier. This hypersaline brew is primarily magnesium chloride, sodium chloride, common salt, calcium chloride, and potassium chloride. The high density, about 1.24 kilograms per liter, is greater than that of the human body, creating the legendary buoyancy. Let your mind achieve this same density. Let it become so saturated with calm, with presence, that anxiety cannot sink it. Let your thoughts become weightless, bobbing effortlessly on the surface of awareness. Magnesium, the anti-stress mineral. Magnesium is the dominant cation here, present in concentrations 15 times higher than in the ocean. It is a natural anti-inflammatory and a critical cofactor for hundreds of enzymatic reactions in the body, many involved in stress response and sleep regulation. When absorbed through the skin, it can help relax muscles and calm the nervous system. The Dead Sea is, in essence, a vast, warm bath of natural magnesium oil. As you imagine floating, feel this mineral not on your skin, but in your mind. Let it be an anti-inflammatory for your thoughts, easing the friction between worries, softening the edges of the day. Bromide, the natural sedative. The air you breathe is rich with evaporated bromide ions, a natural sedative. The concentration in the air is several times higher than anywhere else on Earth. Inhaling this bromine-rich air has a mild, calming effect on the central nervous system. In the past, bromide salts were used medically as tranquilizers and anticonvulsants. With each breath in this visualization, you are not just breathing air. You are breathing in centuries of calm. Let each exhale release neural tension, and each inhale draw in this ancient, quieting mist. The unique mud, a colloidal canvas. The famous black mud of the shores is not simple dirt. It is a fine, silted colloidal material, rich in the same minerals as the water, plus organic compounds and elements like sulfur and silica. Its colloidal nature gives it a high surface area and a negative electrical charge, allowing it to bind to impurities and dead skin cells, drawing them out. It acts as a gentle, natural detoxifying mask. Imagine the residue of the day, the mental fatigue, the sensory overload, as this dead skin. Let the mud of this deep calm draw it out, leaving your mind's surface clean, smooth, and receptive. Calcium, the skin's regulator. Calcium ions abound in forms like calcium chloride. In skin care, calcium helps regulate the skin's barrier function and cellular turnover. It signals skin cells to differentiate and mature properly. The mud and water provide a topical source, aiding in the restoration of skin homeostasis. It's not just cleansing, it's instructing the skin to heal itself. Let this fact be a metaphor for your mental state. This quietude is not passive. It actively signals your nervous system to differentiate between essential awareness and unnecessary noise, restoring its natural, healthy balance. Potassium, the balancer. Potassium chloride is another major salt. Potassium is crucial for maintaining cellular fluid balance and electrical gradients, the very basis of nerve impulses and muscle contractions. While you don't absorb significant potassium through the skin, its presence in the mud and water is part of the unique, rebalancing cocktail that makes Dead Sea therapy so effective for conditions like psoriasis, where skin cell turnover is disordered. Imagine your thoughts as cells. The potassium of this deep focus helps rebalance their activity, slowing the frantic, disordered turnover of worry and allowing for healthy, rhythmic patterns of restful thinking. The oil on water effect. Run your hand through the water in your mind. It feels different. Silky, almost oily. This is due to the high concentration of calcium and magnesium ions, which alter the surface tension and the tactile sensation. It's a physical manifestation of the water's altered chemistry, a literal feeling of smoothness and ease that enhances the sensory experience of floating. Let the flow of information in this script have that same effect on your mind. Let it be silky, smooth, altering the surface tension of your consciousness, making everything feel easier, softer. Salt crystallization, time made visible. As water evaporates, beautiful, intricate hopper crystals of sodium chloride form, hollow, pyramid-like structures that sparkle like diamonds on the shore. This is a slow momentum process. The crystals grow as water molecules leave, slowly, inexorably, allowing the salt ions to find their perfect, rigid lattice. Your rest is this crystallization process. The evaporation of busyness allows the essential structures of yourself, clarity, peace, insight, to slowly, beautifully, take their natural, solid form. There is no need to rush it. The lack of sulfate. Unlike ocean water, the Dead Sea is remarkably low in sulfates. This is significant because sulfates can be drying and irritating to the skin. Their absence, combined with the richness of magnesium and other minerals, contributes to the unique, skin-comforting and therapeutic quality of the water, making it feel more nurturing than harsh seawater. In the same way, this narrative is designed to be low in the sulfates of stimulation and urgency. It is meant to nurture your attention, not to strip it bare. A saturated solution. The water is so saturated that salt precipitates out continuously, you cannot dissolve more in it. It has reached its limit. Scientifically, it is a eutectic brine, a solution at its maximum density for its temperature and pressure. It is, in a sense, complete. Full. Aim for this state in your relaxation. Not an empty mind, but a full, saturated mind, so completely filled with the quiet presence of this moment that no more worry, no more planning, can dissolve into it. It simply rests, complete. History here is not just in books. It is in the mud, the air, the very salt. Let us float past the echoes of empires, prophets, and seekers. The Dead Sea Scrolls, libraries in jars. In 1947, a Bedouin shepherd threw a stone into a cave and heard the sound of breaking pottery. He discovered the first of the Dead Sea Scrolls, over 900 ancient Jewish manuscripts dating from the 3rd century BCE to the 1st century CE. Preserved for 2 millennia by the dry, stable climate, they include biblical texts, sectarian rules, and apocalyptic writings. They are the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible, hidden by the Essene community, possibly to protect them from Roman legions. We all have scrolls within us, ancient texts of memory, identity, belief. In deep rest, we find the cave where they are stored, not to read them with frantic eyes, but to appreciate their quiet, enduring presence. Cleopatra's Cosmetics Empire. Legend and history suggest Queen Cleopatra VII, fascinated by the therapeutic properties, secured exclusive rights to the region from Mark Antony. She established what might be considered the world's first spa and cosmetics franchise, building factories to produce Dead Sea mud and salt for the elite of the Roman world. Her vision saw the economic potential in this natural wonder, turning healing into commerce, but rooted in a genuine ancient appreciation for its effects. Tonight, claim your own exclusive rights. Not to sell, but to receive. Let this time be your personal sovereign grant of healing, your own spa for the mind. Herod the Great's Fortress Refuge. On the dramatic mesa of Masada, overlooking the sea's southern end, King Herod the Great built a lavish palace fortress. Later, it became the last stand of Jewish zealots against the Roman siege. This place embodies paradox, a place of luxurious retreat and desperate struggle, of breathtaking views and tragic endings. It stands as a stark monument to the human need for security, for a place of last resort. In your own life, let your deep, calm mind be your Masada, not a fortress of defiance, but a secure, high place of retreat, where you can survey the landscape of your life with peaceful detachment. The biblical cities of the plain. The Dead Sea is traditionally associated with the location of Sodom and Gomorrah. The story, found in Genesis, speaks of cities consumed by fire and brimstone for their wickedness, with Lot's wife turning into a pillar of salt. Whether myth or memory of a catastrophic event like an earthquake or asteroid impact, the story is forever woven into the identity of this place, a warning of destruction and a symbol of irreversible consequence. Let this be a metaphor for release. The cities of your daily anxieties can dissolve. The pillar of salt is the fixation on the past. Turn away from that gaze. Face forward, toward the peaceful water. The Nabateans and the bitumen trade. Before the Romans, the Nabateans, the builders of Petra, controlled the lucrative bitumen trade from the Dead Sea. They transported the tar in porous, ceramic amphorae, which would allow water to evaporate, solidifying the bitumen for transport. They were masters of the desert, understanding its resources and secrets. Their wealth was built on this seemingly grim, oily substance that rose from the depths. What valuable resource rises from your depths in stillness? It may not be bitumen. It may be patience, creativity, or compassion. Notice it. Honor it. It is your inner wealth. The Byzantine monastic flourish. In the 5th and 6th centuries, the harsh, beautiful wilderness attracted Christian monks seeking ascetic solitude. Monasteries like St. George's in Wadi Kelt and Mar Saba were built into the cliffs. These monks came to this deep place to be closer to God, to strip away worldly distraction, believing the desert's austerity clarified the soul. The Dead Sea was part of this sacred geography of denial and revelation. You need not renounce the world. But in these minutes, you are a temporary monk of calm. This audio is your cliffside cell, a temporary sanctuary for simplifying the noise of your soul. The pillars of salt, natural formations. Along the shore, natural formations of salt-capped rock indeed resemble pillars and statues. These are created by cap rock erosion. A hard layer of rock protects a softer salt pillar beneath from rain, while the surrounding area washes away. They are a perfect example of how the literal landscape gives rise to myth. Nature herself sculpts the monuments to the old stories. You, too, are a formation shaped by time and erosion. The hard caprock of your resilience protects the softer, valuable core of your being. You are both natural and mythical. The first modern health resort. In the late 19th century, the first modern hotel was built in Kalia, attracting visitors for health tourism. Doctors began prescribing Dead Sea treatments scientifically for skin and rheumatic conditions. This marked the transition from ancient anecdote to modern balneotherapy, the science of therapeutic bathing. The world began to systematically rediscover what Cleopatra knew intuitively. Consider this session a form of mental balneotherapy. You are not just listening. You are undergoing a prescribed, scientific immersion in calm for the health of your nervous system. T. Lawrence and the Arab Revolt. T. Lawrence, Lawrence of Arabia, and the forces of the Arab Revolt traversed this region during World War I. The harsh, salty shores were an obstacle and a landmark in their campaign against the Ottoman Empire. For Lawrence, the Romanticist, it was another layer of history in a profoundly historical land. His writings capture the stark, formidable beauty of the area, a beauty born of extremity. Every life has its campaigns, its harsh marches. But here, now, there is a ceasefire. Let the flags of your various struggles lie still. There is only the treaty of breath, the armistice of floating. A name through time. It has been called many names, the Salt Sea, in the Hebrew Bible, the Sea of Arava, the Eastern Sea, the Sea of Sodom, the Sea of Lot, and the Stinking Sea, due to sulfur springs. The name Dead Sea first appears in Greek writings in the 2nd century BCE. Each name captures an aspect, its chemistry, its location, its myth, its perceived lifelessness. It is a palimpsest of perception. You, too, have many names: parent, worker, friend, dreamer. In this float, let them all dissolve. You are simply a being, floating in awareness. Untethered from all titles. Let the science of healing envelop you now. This is not just a sea, it is a vast, open-air clinic, prescribed by nature itself. Psoriasis and the 21-day remission. The most well-documented effect is on psoriasis, the combination of high UVB sunlight filtered by the low altitude's thick atmosphere, the mineral-rich water, and the mud can induce significant clearance. Many patients experience remission for weeks or months after a 3 to 4 week treatment course. It's believed the minerals normalize skin cell proliferation, while the unique sunlight spectrum suppresses immune overactivity in the skin. It's a holistic, environmental therapy. Imagine a similar process for your mental patterns. Let this calm, filtered information normalize the proliferation of anxious thoughts, suppressing the immune response of hypervigilance, allowing your mind's surface to find smooth, clear remission. Atopic dermatitis, eczema, relief. For eczema, the moisturizing, anti-inflammatory, and barrier-strengthening effects of the minerals and mud provide profound relief from itching and inflammation. The magnesium, in particular, is a known anti-itch agent. It's a gentle, physical therapy that soothes without the potential side effects of strong topical steroids. It helps restore the skin's natural protective function. Feel a similar relief for your mental itching, that restless, scratchy need to do, to check, to solve. Let the magnesium-rich calm soothe that sensation, restoring the natural protective barrier between you and the world's irritants. Osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. The warmth, the buoyancy, and the minerals work together for arthritis sufferers. Buoyancy reduces weight-bearing stress on joints, allowing for pain-free movement. The warmth increases circulation. Magnesium and bromide absorbed through the skin may have mild analgesic and muscle-relaxing effects. It's hydrotherapy enhanced by a powerful mineral cocktail. Consider your mental rigidity, the stiff joints of fixed opinions and hardened stress. The buoyancy of this practice takes the weight off them. The warmth of focused attention increases the circulation of new perspectives. Allow for gentle, pain-free movement of thought. The phototherapy advantage. The Dead Sea is the lowest place on Earth. This means sunlight travels through an extra 430 meters of atmosphere, which filters out the harmful, shortwave UVC and some UVB radiation. What remains is a higher proportion of longwave UVA and therapeutic UVB. This filtered sunlight allows for longer, safer exposure times to achieve therapeutic phototherapy effects for skin and mood disorders. Think of this script as filtered information. The low altitude of deep relaxation filters out the harsh, harmful wavelengths of urgency and alarm. What reaches you is the therapeutic spectrum of calm, useful insight, allowing for a safe, prolonged exposure to peace. Magnesium and circadian rhythms. Magnesium is a cofactor for the enzyme that converts tryptophan to serotonin, a precursor to melatonin, the sleep hormone. Topical and environmental magnesium may subtly support the body's natural biochemistry of relaxation and sleep regulation. While floating in the sea, you are immersed in a medium that literally supports your body's ability to prepare for rest on a biochemical level. As you float in this audio, imagine you are supporting your mind's circadian rhythm. You are providing the cofactors for mental melatonin, the hormone of mental darkness and rest, signaling to your entire being that it is safe to drift. Mud's thermodynamic effect. The mud is not just chemically active, it is thermally active. Applied to the body, it dries slowly, creating a lasting, gentle warmth as water evaporates. This warmth increases local blood flow, bringing nutrients and immune cells to the area, and carries away metabolic waste. It's a soothing, penetrating heat therapy. Let the flow of these words be like that mud on your busy mind. As they are applied, they create a lasting, gentle warmth of focus. This mental warmth increases the flow of restorative attention, carrying away the metabolic waste of scattered thought. Respiratory relief from bromide air. Patients with chronic respiratory conditions like asthma and cystic fibrosis have reported easier breathing here. The bromide-rich, pollen-free, low-humidity air is thought to have a bronchodilating and anti-inflammatory effect on the airways. It is, quite literally, easier to breathe. The air itself is treatment. In this moment, let your mental breathing become easier. Let the air of this narration be free of the pollen of distraction, rich in the bromide of calm. Feel the constricted passages of rushed thinking relax and open. The psyche-skin connection. Dermatological conditions are deeply linked to stress, the profound relaxation induced by floating in weightless, warm, mineral-rich water lowers cortisol levels. This reduction in systemic stress is itself a powerful anti-inflammatory agent, breaking the vicious cycle where stress exacerbates skin conditions, which in turn creates more stress. The treatment heals both body and mind simultaneously. We are targeting that same connection now. The weightless float of your attention is lowering your mental cortisol. We are breaking the cycle where anxiety about rest prevents rest. Healing the mind's surface soothes the mind's depths. Enhanced proprioception and body awareness. In the weightless environment, your proprioceptive system, the sense of where your body is in space, is quieted. You are freed from the constant, subtle strain of gravity and posture. This allows for a unique, global sense of body awareness that is peaceful rather than effortful. It's a neurological reset for the sensory system. Let your mental proprioception reset. Let go of the constant, subtle strain of positioning yourself in the world, your social posture, your professional stance. In this float, you have no position to maintain. You are simply aware, without effort. The placebo and the power of place. We cannot discount the placebo effect, or more accurately, the power of place. The belief that you are in a legendary, healing location, combined with the dedicated time for self-care, has immense psychological benefit. The mind's belief in healing activates real biochemical pathways of repair and relaxation. The Dead Sea is a potent symbol that triggers this belief. You have now spent significant time building this place in your mind. That itself has power. Believe in this sanctuary you've co-created. Your belief is the final, essential mineral in the water, making its buoyancy real for you. Our float now takes us to a sobering but essential truth. This ancient sea is changing rapidly. To understand it fully, we must look at its challenges. The disappearing Jordan River. The primary source, the Jordan River, is a shadow of its former self. Over 95% of its historic flow is now diverted for agriculture and drinking water by Israel, Jordan, and Syria. What once was a biblical-scale river is now, in many stretches, a managed, shallow stream. The Dead Sea is starved of its lifeline, its replenishment. Ask yourself, what are the Jordan rivers of your peace? What are the sources of replenishment that have been diverted by the demands of life? In recognizing them, you begin the process of restoration. The meter per year drop. The result of the diversion is a stark statistic: the sea level falls, on average, over 1 meter per year. The shoreline recedes, leaving behind a stark, salt-encrusted plain. Old piers stand hundreds of meters from the water. The geography you are visualizing is not static, it is a snapshot in an ongoing process of retreat. Internal resources can feel this way, receding under the demand of output. The key is to notice. The receding shoreline itself is a call to action, a visible signal of imbalance. The industrial evaporation ponds. The southern basin is now a network of large, rectangular evaporation ponds owned by mineral extraction companies. They pump water from the north, evaporate it to harvest potash, bromine, and other salts, and then return a concentrated brine. This industry is a major employer and economic pillar for Jordan and Israel, but it accelerates the water loss. It represents the complex trade-off between immediate human need and long-term environmental preservation. Our minds have evaporation ponds too, habits that pump our mental energy and evaporate it for a specific, narrow yield, often leaving us feeling concentrated and depleted. Awareness is the first step toward a more sustainable economy of attention. The sinkhole epidemic. As the freshwater table drops, it no longer supports the ground above the subsurface salt layers. Freshwater dissolves the salt, creating massive underground cavities that collapse. These sinkholes can appear suddenly, swallowing roads and date palm groves. They make the shoreline dangerous and unpredictable, a physical manifestation of the unstable foundation left by the receding water. When the foundational waters of our calm recede, sinkholes can appear in our mood, our patience. The ground of our stability becomes treacherous. This is not a moral failing, it is a systemic signal to restore the flow. The 2Cs project, Red Sea Dead Sea Conduit. A proposed mega-engineering solution, a canal or pipeline to bring water from the Red Sea, 180 kilometers south. The water would be desalinated for drinking, and the leftover brine would be discharged into the Dead Sea to stabilize its level. It is fraught with environmental risks, potential algal blooms, gypsum crystallization, and seismic activity, and political complexities. But it represents a bold, if controversial, attempt at a technological fix. Sometimes we look for dramatic, external conduits to solve our inner depletion. Often, the more sustainable solution is closer, simpler, to reduce diversions, to let the natural sources of our Jordan rivers flow again. The changing microclimate. As the sea shrinks, the immediate microclimate changes. The large body of water has a moderating effect on temperature. A smaller sea could lead to hotter, drier conditions in the surrounding valley. This could affect the remaining agriculture and even the unique atmospheric filtering of sunlight that makes its phototherapy so effective. The healing environment is threatened by the loss of the very thing that creates it. Your inner microclimate is also delicate. The large body of calm you are cultivating here moderates your emotional temperature. Protect it. Its shrinking would change your entire inner landscape. Salt layers and stratification. The water column is not uniform. It has stratified into layers of different salinity and temperature. Since 1979, the upper 35 meters has been less saline than the deep, anoxic layer below. This stratification prevents mixing, leading to different chemical and biological zones. It's a sea within a sea, a complexity born of its changing nature. Your consciousness has layers. On the surface, less saline, active thoughts. Deeper down, dense, anoxic realms of memory and intuition that do not mix easily. Both are part of the whole. Both are valid. Deep rest allows for a gentle acknowledgement of all layers. The preservation of the scrolls climate. The same dry, stable climate that preserved the Dead Sea Scrolls is now a focus of conservation science. Researchers study the cave microclimates intensely to protect the scrolls and learn how to preserve other ancient artifacts. It is an irony, the climate that preserved the past is now under threat, and we must use technology to preserve the conditions that did the preserving naturally. What are the natural conditions that preserve your sense of self, your inner scrolls of wisdom? Identify them. They may be simple, quiet, time, nature. Your awareness is the first step in their preservation. A UNESCO World Heritage candidate. For years there have been efforts to nominate the Dead Sea as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognizing its outstanding natural and cultural value. The process is complicated by the sea's transboundary location, Israel, Jordan, Palestine, and its deteriorating state. UNESCO status could spur international cooperation for its protection. Consider declaring your own mind a UNESCO site. Recognize its outstanding value. Its history, its ecology, its beauty. This act of internal recognition is the first step toward committed protection and conservation. A symbol of environmental crisis. Ultimately, the Dead Sea has become a global symbol of a water crisis, of the conflict between human development and natural preservation. It is a canary in the coal mine for watershed management worldwide. Its story is a warning and a lesson: no resource, no matter how vast or ancient, is inexhaustible when the balance is broken. Your personal resources of attention, energy, and calm are the same. They feel vast, but they require balance. This practice is an act of sustainable management, of restoring the natural hydrological cycle of your nervous system. We conclude our float in the realm of myth, symbol, and the intangible truths that salt and water can evoke. This is where science meets the soul. The Dead Sea is not lifeless. Its name is a misnomer. While no fish or large aquatic life can survive the salinity, the sea teems with halophilic, salt-loving, archaea and bacteria, like Halobacterium salinarum. These microorganisms give the water a reddish tint when they bloom. They are extremophiles, thriving where nothing else can, and are studied for biotechnological applications and insights into the potential for life on other planets. Even in the most extreme conditions of your life, the saltiest, most arid periods, there is life. Specially adapted, resilient, beautiful life in the form of your own enduring spirit, waiting for the right conditions to bloom. The Fountain of Youth Legends. Long before Ponce de Leon searched Florida, legends in the Near East spoke of a fountain of youth in the region of the Dead Sea. Its life-extending, healing properties were mythologized. While it does not grant immortality, its proven anti-aging and therapeutic effects on the skin created a tangible link to the myth. People have always sought here a reversal of time's ravages. In a way, deep sleep and deep rest are the true fountain of youth. They reverse the ravages of stress, they repair cellular damage, they restore a youthful flexibility to the mind. You are drinking from that fountain now. The Sodom Apple. Growing along the shore is the Sodom apple, Calotropis procara, a plant with beautiful, silvery green leaves and balloon-like fruits filled with silk-tufted seeds. It is toxic, yet referenced in the Bible. It is a symbol of temptation and false promise, beautiful on the outside, bitter within. It thrives in the harsh environment, a reminder that not everything that grows in a place of healing is itself healing. In your own landscape of thought, learn to identify the Sodom apples, the tempting thoughts that promise relief, like worry or rumination, but are ultimately bitter and toxic. Let them grow on the shore, but do not partake. As a boundary and a refuge. Historically, the Dead Sea's harsh environment made it a natural boundary and a place of refuge for outcasts, rebels, and ascetics. It was a barrier to armies and a hiding place for scrolls and people. It represents both limitation and safety, impossibility and sanctuary. You cannot sail across it, but you can float in it, protected by its very nature. Let your calm mind be this boundary. Let it be the impassable sea that stops the invading armies of anxiety. Let it be the refuge where the sacred scrolls of your true self are kept safe. Alchemy and the prima materia. Alchemists, seeking the primordial substance from which all matter forms, would have been fascinated by the Dead Sea. Its dense, mineral-rich brew, emerging from the Earth's depths, symbolizes the prima materia, the chaotic, original matter awaiting transformation. In their quest to turn lead to gold, this sea would be a symbol of potential, of the raw, salty essence of creation. Your unfocused, busy mind is your prima materia. In this float, you are not forcing a transformation. You are allowing the alchemy of deep attention to work, slowly turning the leaden weight of fatigue into the golden clarity of rest. The symbolism of buoyancy. Across cultures, the ability to float effortlessly is a powerful metaphor for faith, surrender, and grace. The Dead Sea makes this literal. You do not achieve buoyancy, you receive it as a condition of the environment. It is a physical lesson in letting go. The more you struggle, the more you might splash salty water in your eyes. The more you relax, the more perfectly you are held. Apply this directly. The calm you seek is not an achievement of effort. It is a condition you allow. Stop struggling to relax. Simply let the density of this moment hold you. Salt as purification. In rituals worldwide, salt purifies. It is used to cleanse spaces, create sacred boundaries, and preserve what is valuable. The Dead Sea is the world's largest natural repository of this purifying substance. To float in it is to be immersed in elemental purification, a baptism not just by water, but by the very mineral that defines preservation and cleansing. Imagine this audio as a salt bath for your psyche. It is not washing anything away aggressively. It is preserving what is essential, your core peace, and creating a sacred boundary around this time, protecting it from corruption. The vision of Ezekiel. The book of Ezekiel contains a vision of a future where life-giving water flows from the temple in Jerusalem eastward, down to the Dead Sea, making its waters fresh and teeming with fish. It is a powerful prophetic image of healing and reversal, that even the deadest, saltiest places can be restored to vibrant, sweet life. It is a metaphor for spiritual renewal. No state of mind is terminally dead. No matter how arid, how salty your internal landscape feels, there is a source within you that can flow and renew it. This practice is that source, beginning its gentle flow. A mirror to the sky. On a calm day, the sea's surface becomes a perfect, mercury-like mirror, reflecting the desert hills and the vast sky with surreal clarity. The boundary between above and below dissolves. This creates a sense of infinite space, of being suspended within a giant sphere of blue and gold. It is a visual representation of unity, of the dissolution of opposites. In deep relaxation, the boundary between watcher and watched, between thinker and thought, can soften. You are not floating on your consciousness, you are suspended within it, part of a unified, reflective sphere of awareness. The sound of stillness. Finally, listen. When you stop moving in the water, the silence is profound. The heavy water does not wave or splash easily. The sound is of occasional, thick drops falling from your fingers back into the dense, reluctant liquid. It is a silence that feels earned, a quiet that is a physical property of the saturated, heavy, still environment. It is the sound of effortlessness. That is the sound we have been cultivating for 84 minutes. The sound of your mind, saturated with calm, becoming heavy, still, and reluctant to create waves. It is the sound of earned peace. Listen to it now. As we gently return from this salty sanctuary, feel the weight of your body on your bed or chair. Notice the difference. We have floated through ancient geology, dissolved in a unique chemistry, witnessed historical layers, bathed in therapeutic science, observed environmental flux, and touched mystical legends. The Dead Sea is more than a location. It is a state of being. A state of hypersaturated calm, of natural buoyancy, of being held by minerals wiser than time. Let this Dead Sea calm become your own inner buoyancy. Let the knowledge that such a place exists, on the planet and now in your mind, be a touchstone you can return to. When the world feels heavy, remember you know how to float. This deep dive is complete. But the flow continues. If you wish to float with us again through the peaceful wonders of science, please subscribe to Deep Science Flow. Your support allows us to explore more of these tranquil, profound depths. Thank you for journeying to the lowest point on Earth, to find a height of peace. Good night. And may your sleep be as weightless, as peaceful, and as restorative as floating in the saltiest sea.